Every so often, we get copyright claimed on our React videos, and then we have to figure out what caused it.
In order to make sure we make money on this video that comes out on the ad revenue and the views, we have to figure out a solution. Unfortunately, since we upload on the weekends, it's gonna happen right here on Friday night.
It makes me feel sad.
It makes Dean feel extra sad.
Dean, you feel extra sad?
This is how I combat sadness.
This React format that we have is very reliant on corporations who own these properties to like basically allow us to show clips from their movies.
Oh, Chungus, sorry. Dang it, I was trying to catch it.
Fucking fat one. How many people have discovered all the old, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan movies through the Stuntman series? We're giving you free advertisement.
I was surprised that it's the oldest clip we have in this episode, this Bruce Lee clip from the 70s.
It actually depends on how strict the copyright owner's content ID settings are.
It always comes down to this. It always comes down to like getting the video on YouTube and monetizing it. It's the hardest part.
Look how complicated these edits are. Look at all these layers. You gotta hop in there and you gotta go through and find every clip that the company's claiming, and you use your box of tricks. You got horizontal flip.
1% speed.
Cue shift it a little bit. Do your own sound design. Just like put stock Hollywood punches in there.
Another thing I'm doing here is I'm going in and I'm adding a pitch shift.
Bruce Lee's gonna be like, whoa.
That's regular. And here's with the pitch shift.
Just leave it, that's dope.
They're not gonna know until they upload it again, and hopefully we don't get that same copyright infringement email. So it's a little bit of trial and error from here on out, but it is very, very important. Otherwise, we don't get paid.
The re-upload got claimed a second time. We have to try even harder now to trick the algorithm. So we're gonna take out all the source audio from the clip now, picture in picture with a border the clip.
These techniques seem like the sort of techniques that pirates use.
It's like pirates who steal textbooks and give them out to school children for free. That's us.
It's Friday. It's 7:30. My girlfriend is now coming here because dinner plans in our neighborhood is obviously not happening.
Let's just all cross our fingers. Where are my bubbles? Where are my bubbles? Where are the bubbles? All right, we're good. We're good. I freaking got bubbles all over myself. When I refresh this page, we will know if the copyright claim is in effect. It's green. It's green. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We did it.
It is 9:30 now. Nick went home, but we've received an email that it has again gotten copyright strike. Oh man. The segment is only 3 minutes. The episode is 15 minutes. So if we cut it out, we still have an 11-minute episode. It's perfectly serviceable. And the full version is available on corridordigital.com, where you're watching this very vlog. The video got blocked again.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I'm just gonna cut it out. I think, yeah, I mean, I'd like to try that, but I don't know if I can be here that late.
All right, man. Yeah, let's just, I guess, turn it into a positive. Maybe add some titles for the website and call it a night.
Sweet.
For over a year now, we put out a React episode every single Saturday, 9 a.m. A lot of people in our audience, it's like their version of Saturday morning cartoons or something that you look forward to it every week, and we really don't want to let them down. Now, we've never, ever missed an upload on a Saturday. It just wouldn't feel right, man. It wouldn't feel right.
We've seen some reaction videos from other professionals in the field. We thought it'd be really cool to do one of our own. So we're just a bunch of VFX artists.
Visual effects artists react.
Stuntmen react.
Animators react. React.
Dude, look at that neck snap. Ah!
We had this Texas trip planned, so we needed to prep a bunch of videos to basically hold us over. The Sonic trailer had just dropped and was making splashes. Everyone's saying that the Sonic trailer looks horrible. We're in a unique position to explain why. So let's just do that. So that was what I pitched to Jake. The pitch was mine. You were the one who actually set the look of it, though.
Yeah, so I
had to shoot the first 3 and edit the first 3.
I just took my normal approach to editing, which is continuity doesn't matter. All that matters is the experience from click to next video.
Everything kind of came together for that one video. Popular topic, unique insight, combined with a really readable thumbnail format. Needless to say, it did really well. And we have a tendency here at Corridor, once we do something that's popular, we tend not to do it again. Real GTA, for example. Back then, it was like nothing else was pulling those kind of views in one day. And we never made another one. You know, we're not in this just for the views, we're in this, you know, to make films and videos. And like, once we made Real GTA, that was it. You know, we said what we wanted to say and we moved on. The thing about this show that made me decide to continue doing it, outside of the fact that it got a bunch of views, is it was really true to who we were. I get to just talk about my passion on camera, and it becomes a show, and people enjoy watching it. And that's great. That's all I want. That's the best you can hope for as a filmmaker. And so we continued it, and we continued it, and people kept loving it.
And it turned into a thing. It was Carmichael who was like, let's put him on the couch. And like, he got like the couch.
I actually slept on this couch when I came to visit in 2010. They were like, yeah, just crash on the couch. And this thing's actually pretty dang comfy. My face has been here, my face has been here, my legs have been there and there. I spent a lot of time on this couch.
I have to move this green couch every time.
Like usually he pulls it out and I put it away.
Yeah. We use 2 cameras because we can't afford 5. We mostly want to rely on the close-up cam, but you know, sometimes you miss a precious reaction and you have to use this camera to punch in on their face. Because guys are sitting farther away from each other, I have to put the camera on low light mode so that I can close down the aperture to reduce the depth of field. The old 3-point lighting.
Movie magic. Effects harness react.
We used to use this thing. This thing is super janky, and it's like ancient. Looks like you're about to play some 80s new wave synth music on it. But this thing is much better. Just jack in all our lavs, hit record, and it's good to go. Ah! I broke everything. Oh no, in the Apple box. Got it. Maybe 10% of my time is setting up for shoots. Most of our time is editing.
When people say that the episodes are easy to make, they are vastly underestimating the amount of work that goes into making these episodes.
People say that React is easy. First of all, you're dealing with like an hour and a half of footage, right?
There's actually a lot that goes into editing these React videos. 2 camera angles and usually 3 lavaliers.
And you have to condense that down to like 15 minutes or less.
It's not just as easy as grabbing a clip from YouTube and dropping it into a timeline. It's building a story.
It's a lot of fun, but it's very challenging. It is not easy.
Here's the thing. See, your job is actually comparatively easy. It's pretty simple compared to what I have to do. You know, it takes a lot of effort to like exercise these muscles every day.
Sure.
To get my face muscles ready to react.
Yes, your face is your instrument. This face sells.
Yeah, I have to actually like put in hard work. Unlike you, who has to sit there for a whole week editing an episode.
Ren, you're really making sacrifices over there.
Yes,
real big sacrifices for the channel.
You know what? I do it for you guys.
That's right. Dust those shoulders off. Dusty boy. Whoa, look at all this blood and violence. Whoa! That's me. That's me, Ren. Wow! Would you look at that? I'm reacting. Ooh.
I mean,
wow!
I have the hardest job here doing that.
So basically my job is easy and Ren's job is difficult.
I would have to say the hardest thing about VFX Artist React is finding all of the behind the scenes stuff.
They don't always have BTS or VFX breakdowns for these things.
That stuff doesn't exist. That's being made by Nick and Dean and Chase and Matt. And there's research that has to go into them too.
Doing some research, trying to cram as much knowledge as we can before we start filming.
I'm researching the slit scan technique old Kubrick used in 2001. Filmmaker IQ. He really does a good breakdown of it.
This is the app. Incredible VFX resource.
A professional should go look up their shit before they go say shit.
Where the real magic happens for the show, in my opinion, is when we actually provide insight on how the effects are done. That only works if we have proper information, which requires research, which requires some effort before ever filming anything. But the actual true content of what we do is generated right here on camera. It's always improvised, kind of in the moment.
I like seeing what clips you guys bring, because I don't know beforehand.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like we've really talked about and planned. But like, yeah, each one of us will bring like a clip that we've looked at, that the other guys haven't seen, so we get real reactions. Which is nice too, because when you start guessing like as to how it's done, you have one person to be like, actually, this is how it's done. Yeah.
Is that Shia LaBeouf reveal?
Yeah.
Dude, that was intense!
It does enable us to do some other things in the process. It also introduces us to different people and introduces us to different technology and gear and starts really cool conversations.
We covered fire stunts, and then the audience in turn was super interested to see Clint actually get lit on fire.
So it is very much like a platform for us. And the thing about platforms is they allow you to reach higher.
Yeah, we tweeted back and forth a little bit.
You're like, hey, I'm the VFX supervisor on The Boys, and I was like,
That's the most of the work, is how do we get in touch with these people? How do we get the contact info? And not just like their agency or their management's reps contact info, because then there's 10 other hoops you gotta hop through to get the person in the freaking room. So ideally for me, I hope to be in contact directly with the person we're trying to get in.
Jackie Chan is my dream guest for Stuntman React.
John Knoll would be my dream guest, absolutely.
Stephen was great. I mean, all the guests we always have are great. I got Andrew Kramer next week on that couch next Tuesday.
Oh my God, I've never met Andrew Kramer.
I'm looking forward to the surprise of what's going to be on the screen. Sometimes they pull out some old movies. It's fun for me to be able to react to some VFX and get everybody's guess on how the shot was made. And we get to enjoy the visceral reaction of seeing a great visual effect and one that just needed a couple more passes.
Man, Andrew Kramer is the reason why I'm standing in this room right now. He's the reason why a lot of us are in visual effects today. January 2009 is when I started learning how to do visual effects because I stumbled on this website called videocopilot.net, and that was when I learned that you can actually do visual effects on a home computer. There were about maybe 80 or so videos on the website, and I watched every single one. That was my hobby, was just watching these tutorials, even though I had never opened the program. But I felt like I knew how to use it because I had watched dozens of hours worth of tutorials. I'm like a little baby in those videos, but that was when I was just starting to actually get my hands into After Effects. And it was all because of the man sitting in the other room. I wonder how many thousands of artists out there are doing this sort of visual effects work today because they stumbled upon his website just like I did. And it also kind of makes me kind of consider like this whole React series we have, how many people are we inspiring to get into visual effects?
That was actually one of the things that got me into watching Corridor Crew was the VFX Artist React episodes, because they are educational. A lot of people out there want to learn this stuff.
The show actually helps people get familiar with the language and what to Google. That's the thing, is like, you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Fun and learning has value. If a video does that, then that's where I'm passionate about it.
That's the trend that won't really die. People seeing people do things they really care about and things that they're passionate about.
Somebody wants to share that passion? Awesome.
Working on the show has given me a much deeper appreciation of filmmaking.
Real VFX artists are giving you the real information, the real complexities, because these guys actually do visual effects.
I used to work in a corporate environment. Nothing was ever funny, so that's definitely my favorite part, is laughing while I'm editing, because these guys are so funny.
We're never gonna run out of material because people are always creating. And I mean, we're always creating. There's still things to talk about. There's still visual wonder. I get emails very frequently from people who tell us that we've inspired them to try getting into visual effects or to make that their career or to get into filmmaking, editing, etc.
It's incredibly humbling. It's really cool to see. And I honestly kind of don't know how to take it until I remember how I felt about Andrew Kramer getting me into all of this. And so it's really cool to consider that other people can look at us the same way I look at Andrew.
I want to do morticians react to, dead bodies in movies to see if they had passed away peacefully, or maybe they're holding onto a grudge. And I actually have a dead body reel that I put together that I would love for a mortician to look at. So stick around. Maybe you guys will see that. See if my dead body is good enough.